G'day everyone and welcome to episode 4 of the second Rodeo podcast. I'm your host Symesy. Today's episode is brought to you by Ironside Coffee. You can now get the Colombian Cowboy Ironside coffee beans at ironsidecoffee.com.au and you can also check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Today we are lucky enough to be joined by Mike Roberts, aka the Converse Cowboy. Mike's a property developer and also runs the Converse Cowboy Podshow, dedicated to the mindset of successful people in the Western lifestyle, living the Western lifestyle. Mike, how are you, mate?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And yourself?
Yeah, good, man. Good. It's Friday morning here in Australia, so man,
Right
I'm
on.
doing pretty well. It's a
Happy
nice
Friday.
day out there. Yeah, cheers, man. It's about 30 degrees outside, so which is different to your degrees, so it's nice and warm anyway. I think 30 degrees for you guys is like really cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'll apologize in advance, my friend, for the acoustics in my office. Like it's all brick and concrete walls, so my apologies.
No, that's okay, man. That's okay. So, yeah, man, I noticed you got a new puppy recently. Have you?
Yeah, you're right here.
Have you come up with a name yet?
I have not.
Yeah, got a little bit of competition going there as well, don't you, with the name?
I've been calling him Buddy.
Okay, yeah. Man, he's an awesome looking dog.
What does he look like to you? What name would you give him?
He's got a good buddy feel about him. I used to have a dog called Buddy actually.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, my dogs. I've got a Basenji, which is a weird dog breed. Not many people sort of know what they are. But his name is Cash, after Johnny Cash.
Right on. Cash is definitely on the list. I've got a list on my phone. I don't know, probably 50 names, and I can't land on one. So
yeah, man, Cash is an easy name for a dog to come back. I mean, Basenjis, they don't really listen to you anyway. They're like known as pretty disobedient dogs because they're pretty sort of closely related to felines. So they just sort of ignore you, and they're like, "Nah, I'm going to do my own thing."
What are those dogs bred for? What is the name again?
Basenjis. Yeah.
Basenjis.
Look it up. Yeah, man. So they look like they almost look like a little dingo, but they were bred back in the day for hunting dogs in Africa, and also in like they sort of date way back to Egypt. Like they say they could be like the oldest dog in the world. The reason I got one was because I was an asthmatic, with allergies and all that sort of stuff. I wanted a dog that was sort of hyperallergenic, but I didn't want a little fluffy dog sort of thing. So this one looked really cool, and I was like, man, he's an awesome looking dog. And they're like, just so you're aware, like because he's a purebred, the breeder was like, just so you're aware, these dogs, they're pretty much like cats. Like they're not going to listen to you. You need to be really well at training them. So I put him through training and all sorts of stuff, and had like an policeman who was a dog handler. And he was like, mate, this dog is a bit of work, eh? So, yeah, man. But he's about 6 years old now, I think. So he's sort of calmed down in his midlife. He's pretty chilled out now, yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah, man. But awesome. They don't bark either. So that's another saving grace of his. They're like the only dog that just doesn't bark. They do a little bit of a yodel here and there, but apart from that, they don't really make a whole lot of noise, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah,
I want to check them out.
Yeah, dude. So, so you're on a bit of a journey, which seems to be you basically look for what makes people tick and what's, how they strive for their best and that sort of thing. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, that's fairly accurate.
Can you sort of go into what made you sort of, I guess, decide to make a podcast or a pod show about that sort of thing? Because I'm massively into mindset. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you bet. So if you back up, like I played sports throughout my entire life. So like competition was just, I don't know if it was bred into me, but it's always been there for me. And so I played baseball all the way through college, and I didn't read any books. I didn't know anything about the brain or neuroscience or being able to manifest what we want to have happen in our life, but I was doing it, unknowingly. I was doing it by visualizations through, thinking about baseball, thinking about the game coming up, and visualizing, putting myself in those situations, those game situations, And then the shit just started to kind of happen. Like it just started to line up. And I don't know, like I always was fascinated with that. And I would talk about that with teammates. And fast forward, like I implemented that in my career I was a pharmaceutical rep for a long time, and then manifested my way out of that into being a real full-time real estate investor. And then it was really, to answer your question, it was like a scratch my own itch, like the Podshow. Like, why did I start it?
Yep.
It was to scratch my own itch, to be able to sit down with people, to have this platform to sit down with people and really pick their brain. And it's interesting, it's like we see people all the time, and it's like, hey, how you doing? And that's it, And so it's interesting though, you get in front of a camera and you get lights on, and I can pretty much ask whatever I want. And I mean, not being an asshole, like my show's not like a gotcha show, I'm not asking anything like that. But the deep stuff that we all think about, we just don't always talk about. Like that is what I've noticed. It's almost 2 years now of doing the show. It's like, it's acceptable to talk about these things, And so that's what I find fascinating about it. But to go back to the original question, why did I start it? That was why. Because I don't know if you follow the cutting horse world or not, but I ride with a trainer by the name of James Payne. And he asked me about a year in, he's like, why did you start the show? And James, I interviewed him before I started riding with him. I interviewed him. He was my second guest. And I said, well, would you have sat down with me for an hour and a half and answered any question that I had? And he's like, probably not, And so that's why I started it.
Yeah, cool. No, it's a good idea, man. And I think that's podcasts these days, and yes, a pod show, because yours is sort of video as well. But it's exactly like you say, man. Like you're able to get someone like you are here today with me, and just sort of delve into it a little bit further, and sort of ask them questions that you wouldn't usually like have time to, like maybe just rocking up to a rodeo or a store or something like that, and they're probably not going to have time for it. So or they'd probably think it's a little bit weird if you were sort of asking them these more specific questions in that sort of in that sort of an area or something. So no, man, I love it. I've only just started this one. I've recorded about 6 episodes now, I think. But we're up to I think we've released 3 on Spotify, and you can tell each time that I'm getting a little bit more confident, and it's nice. Like I've met most of these people before that I've been speaking to, like country music artists and business owners and stuff. And yeah, man. And so I sort of run Second Rodeo Clothing. It's a country streetwear brand. So we're a little different from your country Western lifestyle brands. But for me, so going back to like cutting horses, like I've never sort of been in that industry. However, love horses, love the Western lifestyle. My dad grew up my dad was always living in the country, and I was living in the city as a kid sort of thing. So I was always out in the country with either my grandparents or my dad sort of thing. So that's where that sort of background comes from for me. But yeah, man, when I started this, it was like I wear like streetwear, but I just wanted to make something that was sort of, you can just throw it on, go down the street. You can wear it if you want to, go work or whatever. If you're a cowboy or something, or you can just wear it down the street in the city, wherever you are, sort of thing. So just something like real sort of simple that sort of still relates to country, and so
can I ask you some questions?
Definitely, bro.
Like when did you start that company? When did you start the clothing company?
It was, I think, April 2000 or it might have been like March 2017.
17. Right on. What were you doing before that?
So I'm a soldier. So I was in the Australian Army. I still am now, and I got in the Army in 2011. So I've been in for 10 years now. But it was I was just going through a point of time in the Army where I just wasn't happy, and I wanted to start something new and see if I could make something for myself. And that's where this came from, man. But I got out for a little while. I got out for about a year and a half, and then I've gotten back in. And I sort of, with COVID, it's been a bit of a saving grace, because I was able to sort of hop back in and still be able to keep the money rolling in and that sort of thing, be able to provide for the family, and also continue to run the business on the side, which is what I'm doing at the moment.
Right on. How hard was that to make that leap to start your own business?
Yeah, it was I don't know. I was pretty excited by it. Like, I think I was very naive to at the start because, you
I
know,
think that can be a good thing though.
yeah, man, yeah. But the way that I sort of got it started was literally just by jumping on YouTube and typing in how do you start a t-shirt company, because I'd always wanted to do it, always wanted to do it. And then, you know, how do you start a t-shirt brand? And then Gary V came up and I was like, man, this guy's like pretty good at getting people motivated, you know, because like I was watching his video, I'm just following it
Yeah.
along, and he's just like, all you need to do is start a Shopify website and then get out there and just sell it, and you know, this, and this, and it's just like, oh well, I guess that's all there is to it, you know what I mean? So, but
That's funny. I just got a
yeah,
notification that Gary Vee just added something to his story. So that's funny that you just said
yeah.
his name.
So you listen to a bit of Gary V?
Yeah, yeah, in small doses. I
Yeah,
love the guy,
yeah,
but yeah, I
yeah.
do I do follow him.
Yeah, man, he's pretty intense. But that's yeah, he's one of the. I guess I could almost sort of thank him for one of the reasons that I sort of got it off the ground, because it was just, you know, there's a lot of those YouTube videos out there that are, you know, this is how to start a t-shirt brand, but they don't really go into some of the other like bigger challenges you're going to face, and you know, they don't really remind you like, hey, just so you're aware, like, you know, you need to work really hard to sell this stuff. And that's something where
Yeah,
someone like Gary V came in, and I was like, okay, well, this is harder than it looks. But yeah, to answer your question, like the transition itself, I guess I haven't really, because I'm not doing it full time yet. The transition into it has sort of, I guess, been not too bad, but because I'm still able to bring a paycheck in from the army, which is, you know, I think when I go to do it full time, it's probably going to hit me like a brick wall sort of thing. But there's yeah, I've got goals there basically to be doing this by probably around this time next year full time.
sweet.
It's been delayed, man. So like last year we were, you know, we were going to be traveling to the States to promote it and see what retail stores we could get into and sell at rodeos and festivals and stuff. But because of COVID, that obviously put things behind. So I've
Right.
still got all those plans. It's just delayed. That's all. So I think I'm
Yeah.
really excited for it, man. Really excited to when COVID goes away, we can sort of travel again and come back over. And I just want to sort of jump on that, you know, country music festival circuit and the rodeos and country fairs and stuff, and just man,
Yeah.
just bootstrap around the trailer and see how I go.
Yeah, man, that'll be a fun journey.
Yeah, man. So you're saying you're into real estate. Like how long ago did you get into real estate?
I think I bought my first rental property in 2009.
Okay.
I think 2009,
Yeah.
however many years ago that was.
Yeah. It feels
Yeah.
like a long time ago now.
Yeah.